Everybody, give you all a quick second to come on in and join us today. First of all, we want to say thank you for joining us today, taking time out of your hectic schedule. We know that everybody is doing a little bit of something of everything, but hopefully you are obeying the recommendations and guidelines and you are practicing social distancing. That's 6 feet away if you have to go out in public. For those of you who do not know, of course you do, I am David L. Lester Massey, relationship influencer as well as content creator, just half of the David and Johnny brand. So today we're having a conversation with doctors. So we wanted to make sure that we covered all of our bases on the mental health side as well as the physical side. So we have today doctors Sherry Blake, you've seen her all over your television screen, and also her husband, Dr. Victor Blake, who is a medical doctor. So I want to say hello and welcome to our show.
Thanks so much for having us. I am glad to be here, and I'm so glad my other half is here.
So Dr. Sherry, can you just let us know and let our viewers know, who are you and why are you so important?
As you mentioned, you may have seen me on TV, from the Housewives to the Braxtons to CNN, who knows? But the reason, I laugh and say that, but I am not just a doctor on TV playing a doctor. I really am a doctor, and I'm married to one. But most of all today, I'm a clinical psychologist. But most of all, I am really concerned about all the anxiety, all the stress, all the fear, all the stuff that's going on with COVID-19. So why I'm here today is to share that part of what can I do to help.
Dr. Victor, you as being the husband in the Blake household, can you let us know who you are, what you do?
Well, I'm a doctor of medicine, associate professor of medicine at one of the local medical schools. I've trained doctors to be doctors. I've been practicing close to 35 years now. And I just want to be able to help people understand some of the things I've observed that people should and shouldn't be doing to protect themselves against this COVID-19 problem.
Well, again, thank you all so much for being here today. And if you're watching, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment in the comment section so you can get your questions answered today by true medical professionals. So when we talk about everything that's going on in the world today, because it's affecting everybody, whether you're in the North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Russia, China, no matter where you are on this planet, you have been impacted by this pandemic. And with that, knowing that everybody's going through the same thing at the same time, Dr. Sherry, can you kind of let us know, how do we control, maintain, live through our anxiety levels?
Anxiety is out of control right now. The reality is we stay stressed and we have anxiety all the time. There's over 40 million Americans, I think, that suffer with anxiety alone. With that being said, this is not an uncommon problem. But when you have something like COVID-19, oh my God, it is truly out of control, because it's not only that 40 million, but the rest of America that has this. And what happens with this is that people have such a hard time because they're running on fear. We're running on fear that, oh my God, what's going to happen? What happened yesterday? How many people died? We see the news 24/7. And every time we see the news, it ups that level of anxiety and makes it higher. So people are concerned about what has happened. They're also concerned about what's going to happen. And the reality is you can't change what has already happened, and you sure can't change what's going to happen. So I try to help people to understand, to control the anxiety, to control the stress, live in the here and now moment. You have to be able to focus here and now, because yes, it's really bad. And the stress is real, the anxiety is real. And the point is, it is so real that people have lost their judgment, their sense of judgment. So that's why when you start looking at things in the decision making, people start hoarding things. So you run out and what do? You buy all the toilet paper you can. You buy all of the bread, all the milk. And it's like, what are you buying everything for? Because you're afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow. There may not be anything. But do you have toilet paper today? Do you have paper towels today? Whatever. Let's live in the here and now so we can learn to control that anxiety and breathe. And I started people by saying just simple breathing. And people say, I breathe all the time. See, my husband breathes. See how he breathes.
Believe me, it helps.
It
With my
does.
job, it helps.
It does help because we're all stressed, but you have to learn to breathe. And when I say breathe, I'm talking about breathing in through the nose, holding it 5 seconds, and breathing out through the mouth as if you're breathing through a straw. Learn to relax, and you can control that. That's the part you can control.
Awesome. And so thank you so much, Dr. Sherry. When we hear so many of the things that are going on right now, like you said, the news is, no matter what channel you watch, no matter what network station you're watching, you're seeing things about people who are going to the emergency room, people who are experiencing different symptoms. Dr. Blake, can you tell us the similarities between the common cold, the flu, and the coronavirus?
Well, here's the challenge with this. The first thing I would want to say about this pandemic is that we as physicians are learning new things about it every day. So what adds some to the uncertainty and the stress sometimes is the fact that it's really a moving target. But what we will say is that, and I feel a lot of calls constantly from patients saying, well, I have a cough, or I have some stuffiness, particularly with pollen season coming up. Folks are going to be having that. Folks are going to be having that anyway. But the major things you want to look for, and I always go through the symptom process with patients, is typically this gets in through the air. You say your nasal passages, or you breathe it in. Sometimes I'll go over how you can actually inoculate yourself. And that's going to be kind of funny to talk about. But having said that, the symptoms are headache, usually headache, some nasal congestion. As the virus works its way down your nose, you can get some real bad sore throat, high fever. Typically, the first thing I'll ask patients: have you had headache? Have you had sore throat? Have you had high fever, to rule those things out, because as the virus works its way down into your chest, that's when you start getting the chest tightness and shortness of breath. And the shortness of breath for most practitioners, most of us as healthcare providers, is the kind of trigger to say, oh, you need to go to the hospital. So what I'm recommending to a lot of my patients right now is, yes, you can have a cough, and that the cough due to cold and nasal congestion that happens from a regular cold. Yes, you can get body aches and fever, that comes with the flu. And what I would say about that is that the flu and the coronavirus syndrome look very close to each other, whereas the cold, you don't tend to have as super high fevers. But the flu, with the body aches, again, the headache, sore throat, and what have you, they look so similar that I advise patients to, first of all, if they have a primary care physician or provider, contact that person first. We're trying to keep the pressure off the emergency rooms by having us be able to triage and tell. So I'm having patients measure their temperature every 4 hours and can contact me and let me know. Let me know if they start getting chest tightness or shortness of breath, or if they start getting worsening shortness of breath. And those are probably the biggest thing that's my trigger for a person to want to go to the hospital, or for me to call EMS, is worsening shortness of breath. You went to the kitchen, you went from your bedroom to your kitchen, and you was fine. Now you're making it halfway there and you're out of breath. That's a difference. So that's when your butt needs to be calling somebody.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, Dr. Sherry, when you, Dr. Victor, said a high fever, what's considered a high fever versus a low grade fever?
Well, yeah, typically anything below 100.4, I would consider low grade. Some other providers might go as high as 100.9, but typically 100.4, anything between 98 and 100.4 is how this starts off. And then you start seeing spiking. When you see temperatures go up, when I see temperatures go up above 101, especially 102, then I'm concerned. So I'm having my patients call me when they're measuring their temperatures every 4 hours, and I tell them, look, if your temperature goes up above 100.4, give me a call so we can talk about it, so I can go back over the symptoms with them again. Yes, it puts extra stress on us, but we're trying to take the extra stress off the emergency rooms the best way we can.
So I know that thank you so much, Dr. Victor. We have viewers that are chiming in, they're asking their questions, they're making their questions known in the comment section. So I want to let you all know that we are practicing social distancing even in our own home between David and Johnny. So Johnny now is fielding all of your questions. So I understand that we have some questions from our viewers. Johnny, can you let us know what one of our questions would be for the doctors?
Yes, and there is a question around social distancing. What is the purpose of the 6 feet apart? That was a question that came through email, actually. What is the purpose of the 6 feet apart?
Well,
Dr. Victor?
Yeah, well, coughing and sneezing, believe it or not, when you cough or sneeze, your sneeze goes out at quite a high speed, and it can spread quite a distance. And usually that cough or sneeze distance, if you're beyond 6 feet, you're usually pretty safe in terms of it dissipating enough so it doesn't get, so you don't incidentally inhale it. When you're in close quarters with a person, like I saw a person the other day at the gas station with his mask halfway on halfway on inside the box, inside the box talking to me. I had to have a conversation with him, but the distance really has more to do with the distance at which you breathe. And when you breathe into your hand, you feel moisture, in your hand. So that moisture gets out into the air and floats in the air. I think
it's similar to.
It's not unlike if a person sneezes, this happens. And so you'll see that all these things kind of go in the air. I tell people, if I can, although molecules are smaller than viruses, I still say, if you can still smell air freshener when you walk through a room and an hour after it's been used, then you're behind need to be wearing a mask if you're going to end in an enclosed space where you don't know folks, especially in the workplace where people tend to be comfortable with each other. And in the workplace that they tend to be comfortable with each other, and they still be getting up in each other's face. That I noticed a lot of folks make that mistake, even in the healthcare environment, because we almost have to. But of course, we all have masks. We almost have to work closely together to be there. So I noticed people out in the workplace in each other's face and not thinking about it.
So speaking of the personal protective equipment, like the masks, you mentioned the masks. Now, I have seen people go outside, I'll try to do this, go outside with something like this on. Like that's gonna do something. Like what does that do for you? Can you please help us with the correct way to use your personal protective equipment, your masks, the type of masks, if you can, help us with how we are to use our personal protective equipment, Dr. Victor.
I see folks in the store and the store does all the time. Well, what you have to do is you have to think about your hair, you have to think about your eyes, you have to think about your nose, in your mouth, and your hands. Those
Gotcha.
particular area ways of your body you gotta protect. So yes, believe it or not, it can get into your hair and stay in your hair for quite some time. So if you can, wear some type of hair covering when you go up, because it can stay in your hair. And understand, if I blew up one single strand of hair this big, the virus would be this big. So you can get a whole lot of viruses on up in your head. And so folks go out and they're protecting, they're scratching their head and what have you, and still will, it's still spread it, end up spreading it to scratch their head and rub their eye, then they got it. So let's kind of move down so there's hair protection, something that I usually wear a baseball cap. Of course, when I'm at work, I'm wearing the surgical things. What I see is people that have these type of masks. There are a lot of people with these type of masks, and what they do is, let me tell you what they do. This ain't right, okay? This ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't right, okay? And on top of that, what they do is they take the mask and they just put it on like this. And they have this, they have this area here exposed and open. There's a metal thing up top here for a reason. Pinch it down on y'all's nose, y'all, so that you can keep it, so you can keep that air from coming inside from that way. So it's got to cover your mouth, and you've got to cover it down on your nose. Pinch. There's a metallic thing here that allows you to kind of pinch it down on your nose. Don't just leave it open like that. So that's one thing. Occasionally I see some folks with N95 or so-called N95 or N99 masks. This is an N95 mask. This is the mask that healthcare providers use, although I see a lot of folks walking around with N95 and N99 masks, and still they not understanding that these masks, they of all different types of sizes, and what we do is what we call a fit test. Now, I'm not going to go over fit tests. I'm not going to weeds with that. But what I would say to you is that having this mask on properly, this also has a metal bar here, where in such a way that if you put the mask on, you have to really have it in such a way, and I'm not doing the official way to do it. So y'all healthcare providers, don't give me a hard way to go in a short time to get there. But the mask needs to be pinched on, and on top of that, if you have glasses, if you can blow, and it fogs up your glasses, the mask is not on tight enough.
Gotcha. That is so important to know. Thank you so much. We've got some more questions coming in from our viewers, Doctors Victor and Sherry. I'm going to turn it over to Johnny. Can you let us know what another question is from one of our viewers?
Yes, so we have two questions that have come in too. So one was specifically for Dr. Sherry. How are we to manage loss of income and jobs during this time? And the second one was around people with compromised immune systems. What can they eat and what can they do during this time?
Okay.
So let's start with Dr. Sherry.
First one's for me then. With loss of job, with the stress and the anxiety around that, understand you're not alone. First of all, you're not alone. Everyone is struggling without job. Those without jobs, people are struggling. So don't feel bad about that. What you have to do is, again, don't worry about tomorrow. Look at, do I have enough for today? Do I have enough of the needed resources for today? And that's what you can do. One thing we tend to do is think, my God, can I feed the kids? If you need help, there are resources available. Reach out for resources through not only the government, but reach out through resources through community bases. There are a lot of food banks that are giving food away. Don't have your pride to stay in the way and make you suffer more than you have to. But don't worry about the money, because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are going to be without money. So I'm going to ask my husband to take the part two about the immune.
Folks that have maybe immunocompromised. Now, understand what we mean by immunocompromised. What we really mean is there's some medical reason why the immune system is not working as well as it should be working. And that could be people who have diabetes, particularly if it's poorly controlled, people who have lung conditions such as emphysema, so-called COPD, asthma, people who are taking medications, say if person's had a transplant, say a kidney transplant or something like that, and they're taking medications There are medications that can slow your immune system down. People with inflammatory conditions like lupus, people who are HIV positive are also taking also have a situation where their immune system is a little bit slowed down. Although without getting into the weeds too much, some of the medicines that may end up that we're experimenting on that may help with this seem to be medicines that are used to treat HIV. So we are looking at some of those medicines that very well may treat them. So folks that are immunocompromised, the attitude should be universal. Assume everybody has it. Assume everybody should think about they got an immune system and it's up to their job to protect it and keep it in check.
And eat healthy.
Yeah. So in terms of what folks should be eating, we haven't gotten to the point where we're recommending any special types of diet, because this is really about an exposure issue. So I'm not going to really give a recommendation other than just certainly eating healthy, trying to drinking lots of water. Water is the best medicine in the world. Most of your body's made up of water. So it's important to drink water, whether alkaline or whatever. Hey, whatever.
But drink it.
Drink water. The average guy should have about 3.5 liters a day, and the average woman should have about at least 2.5 to 3 liters a day, which means that's about those little bottles that you buy in the store. At least 4 or 5 of them. People don't want to be drink, but you'll see how much better you feel just with that. I want to also touch on one other thing in terms of the personal protective equipment is gloves. The use of gloves. The use of gloves. These folks, y'all are hilarious, folks. I see folks walk around here with gloves and gloves on, and they have the gloves on. And then they go into the store. They go into the supermarket with the gloves, and they get the chicken, and they get the water, and they get everything else been picked over. This side, that side, they losing their gloves, and being careful, doing out, and they've got the mask halfway off their face, and they're going from place to place doing it, and then they go back to their car. They get in their car and then using the same glove they've been touching everything on. They drive. They get in behind the wheel and they're driving with their gloves
and touching their face.
And touching their face, and they say, "Okay, now that I'm in my car, I'm safe now." So folks will get in there, and they're scratching their head and what have you, and touching their face, and try to get some gloves that fit y'all. These gloves here, fit. Are extra large, meant to fit me, but the gloves that you be having your hands all like this, and you try. And I know there's a scarcity of gloves, but really with that is important to do. And when you take your glove off,
yes,
it's not this business. You're not this is not you're not doing a strip tease, y'all. You take your glove off and you peel it back in such a way that it's inside out, and toss it before you get to your car, because you're bringing them germs back. You're getting into your car. Ladies who have acrylic nails, I got acrylic nails. I know they look nice and smooth when you be looking at them, but unfortunately, when we put them under an electron microscope, they look like this, with all these holes. I hope I try to get a better picture of it, with all these little holes, and with all these little holes that you have in them like that at that low level, those viruses are really, really small, and they can get it. So it may look smooth to your eye.
Not the nails. Do we have to give up the nails?
Listen, and then on top of that, what folks do is contact lenses. Folks need to stop using contact lenses right now, because what y'all do, you pick it in your eye. And you start picking in your eye, you're going to end up you can inoculate yourself that way. And so the problem with acrylic nails is that the virus can resist a number of hand washings. even though you wash your hands properly, if the virus gets into the nail, the acrylic nails, I ain't trying to put folks out of business. I'm just saying that y'all gonna have to just be careful about how you do your nails. You're gonna have to really get in there, get some old toothbrush to scrub into their nails and make sure that they get good and clean, because they can resist. You can wash your hand 2-3 times and still have them on there because of them acrylic nails. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Please don't say anything else about that.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Big, but no, this is what we need. We need thorough information to make sure that we are helping everybody. So I understand that we have more questions coming in from our viewers. Johnny, take it away.
Yes, so, okay, a list of questions we have here. So some of the questions I think we may have tackled, but a couple of key points. What are we doing about children right now? That's a big question. What about the children right now? And the second question is, and I think we've already tapped into that, people are asking, are the masks really a thing? But I think we have established they are a thing.
Masks are a thing, y'all. I mean, the CDC's gotten to the point where they're recommending even homemade masks are better than nothing. Now, scarves, on the other hand, when they talk about scarves, you know, if you can see through your scarf, that's probably not going to be a good enough scarf to wear. And you can't be wearing it like here, like you're about to rob a stagecoach. It's got to cover your nose well and your mouth really, really, really tightly. So if you can see through it, it's probably a waste of time.
Well, in terms of the children, we have to talk to the children, because the children are a friend and they're picking up on your anxiety. So if you're feeling anxious, they're feeling anxious, and they know that something's wrong. So what we have to do is really talk to them. Again, I have a friend whose little boy was afraid to come out of the house because he thought the corona was out there and didn't want to open the door. The reality is kids form stories in their own mind. So they think the corona is a monster that's going to invade them. And in some ways, you know, it could be. However, we don't want them to understand it that way. So I say, talk to your children, make sure that you're talking to them on an age appropriate level, teach them the social distancing and why, but also establish a routine at home, do things with them, get involved. So you're not leaving them in the corner. Turn the news off in front of them. Do not leave that news on, because they're listening too. Do some things that are family oriented that makes them feel safe. And I know most of you are not school teachers, and I know it is a pain in the, you know what, trying to do all the homework, do all the school lessons. But what I say is take breaks. Try to establish a sense of normalcy in the abnormal state that we're in. And they will calm down as long with you, and do some things to help them calm down. Meditate, breathe, teach them exercises, play. Learn to just take a deep breath and just play. Have fun doing it.
And with that, how you may be wondering, well, how do I protect my kids? How do I keep my kids from getting this? I'm keeping them inside. I'm trying to be careful. How do I not bring this home? Of course, as a physician, you know, that is something that's paramount on my mind all the time. It's just Sherry and I here, all our kids are, out our house and out our pockets. But at least they hope so. But anyway, the key thing is, wear something. If you're at a job, if you have a job, if you can wear a type of any type of uniform that's easily washable, you can take off
at the door.
At the door. When I get in the garage, I can't, of course, me as a healthcare provider, I have to be a little bit more careful. A lot more careful. I stopped wearing street clothes. I wear only scrubs now. As soon as I hit the garage door, get the garage door, I strip down to
not in the garage.
The garage is closed, y'all.
Okay, because I want to look at that. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, babe.
And then the first thing before I touch anything, our laundry room is right there. Don't throw my scrubs into the thing, because you have to assume. And yes, am I trying to make y'all a little bit paranoid? Yeah, a little bit paranoid, y'all, because the life you save may be your own.
And you don't want to bring that to the kids.
And you just don't want to bring that. You don't bring that to the kids. So assume that you have assume that even though you're protecting yourself, assume that some part of your body or clothing has come in contact with the virus. And just, you can wear a uniform or something that you usually wear for those of us that are essential workers. If you can wear a uniform or scrubs or something like that, you can quickly take off and put it in. Then Sherry sends me downstairs to do our shower downstairs, and I can't even kiss her till I take a thorough shower, wash out my hair.
So
then he's home.
Then he's home.
I need the shoes. I wear the shoes I wear, particularly since I'm at hospitals and places like that. I don't even go. I have one pair of shoes I keep in the garage, and I go out there and spray some Lysol on the bottom of them before the end of the day. I have to be now. Of course, I'm not suggesting that the average person has to be, but I'm telling you, as a healthcare provider, I have to have an extra level of carefulness.
But the average person do need to be very mindful, and they do need to spray and Clorox things down, even the doorknobs, because kids are coming in, kids are going out. Wipe things down constantly and teach them how to help you. You don't have to do it all, and make sure they wash their hands.
So I want to make sure that, and thank you all so much. That was very helpful information. I just love talking to the both of you. You know that. And we have more viewer questions.
Okay.
So Johnny, let us know what the viewers are asking now.
Yeah, so another key point that keeps coming in is the elderly. How do we protect them? How do we care for them? But also, this has been very hard being not able to be in connection with the elderly.
Oh my goodness. I think that has to be the most heartbreaking part of this, because they're alone, and sometimes because they're older, sometimes they have dementia and other things going on with them. They really do not understand what's going on in terms of why you're not coming around, why you're not, in their presence. It is so important to stay in contact with them. You can do FaceTime, and you may have to get someone to assist them, but we have to protect them. Drop by in terms of dropping groceries off. You can't go in, but let them know. Talk to them as much as possible on the telephone. Try to keep them connected, but most of all, keep away from them where we don't give it to them.
Think about that in terms of minimizing spread to them, because the patients that my COVID patients that I've had to have admitted to the hospital so far have all, one was only 34, but they've been to the hospital, have all been in their 70s plus. So what that means is that you have to be the same way you think about trying to protect your kids. Make sure that you assume, even though you may not have, assume that you have walked through some place where that virus has been during your day. Obviously, if you're staying inside all the time, that's a different matter. But assume that you have and take the appropriate precautions. Certainly, maintain the social distance, that social distancing, particularly and particularly if that older person is having a temperature. If it wouldn't be a bad idea. Sometimes older patients they don't mount temperatures the way way younger people do, and so it's probably going to be a bad idea if you have a thermometer. Maybe just take grandma's temperature once a day or something like that, to see once or twice a day, just to kind of stay on top of it. And if something's going on, call their primary. Don't go straight to the emergency room unless the person's having shortness of breath or worsening shortness of breath, chest tightness, something like that. This thing can go from 0 to 110. People can be just fine 1 minute and then really at death's door the next. So it's hard for me to say exactly what point you want to call your doctors, but certainly at any sign of what I talked about before, just go ahead and keep that in mind.
This is such good information, such good information. I want to make sure that if you are watching, that you are liking, you are sharing, you are subscribing, and you are commenting. And I know you're doing that. And we appreciate you so much for all of your comments with our doctors today, Dr. Victor and Sherry Blake. So as we move to a wrap up, I know it's been an amazing time talking with the both of you, sharing mind, body, and health concerns and answering all of our questions. Dr. Victor, where are you on social media? Can we have people reach out to you for any type of advice or any type of just to stay connected to you? How would they do that?
Well, you can certainly reach me through Facebook. You know, I'm a med school professor, so most of my work is at the medical school. You know, I have, but you know, and in clinics, of course, my patients know how to reach me. But in terms of just reaching us through our offices at Morehouse School of Medicine would be Morehouse Medical Associates. That is, would be 404-756-1400, and we certainly have a hotline there that helps direct our patients to the correct resources.
Gotcha. And so I want to make sure that everyone also understands that this is a conversation. It is not a substitute for medical treatment. It is something that we are doing to make sure that you stay informed, all of our viewers stay informed, and you are adhering to the recommendations and the guidelines that have been set forth by our leadership, whether it be government, whether it be our employers. Everybody is following the same recommendations and the same guidelines. And we want to make sure that everyone is safe during this time. Dr. Sherry, how can our viewers keep in contact with you?
Of course, you can keep in contact with me multiple ways. You can go to my website at Ask Dr. Sherry. You can also go to social media, and I'm talking about from everything from Facebook to Instagram to, Twitter, I'm there. But most of all, make sure if you need help, don't hesitate. I do a lot of virtual sessions. I do a lot of couple sessions. I do a lot of, because this is a very stressful time. And I know we all are dealing with it, but we have to be able to cope with it in a way that is productive for us. So don't allow yourself to be isolated without anybody to talk to, because I am available. You can always call my office at 770-996-7622. But most of all, you can go to my website and we will reach back. One of the things I say to that, and I meant to say this earlier, and I think you would agree, it's so important to get help. Don't wait, because a lot of the psychological symptoms, a lot of the stress, a lot of the anxiety will mimic a physical problem. So if you're having a panic attack, the panic attack sometimes may feel or seem like it's a heart attack, but and it may not be. But call me, call him first if you think you're having a heart attack. Don't call me, call him first. But call me, because the reality is there's things to do, and there's ways that I can work with you to help reduce that stress, help reduce that anxiety, and eliminate the panic attack.
Yeah. Go ahead, because and one more thing I want to add. Although I am a professor of medicine at Morehouse, my views are my own. I'm speaking for myself. This is a moving target right now. It's really hard to say, so I don't speak for Morehouse School of Medicine, even though I do work there. But these right now are my clinical opinions and impressions.
And between the two of us, believe it or not, I hate to say this, we've had almost 70 years of experience. Can you believe that? We started when we were really young. So,
I graduated from medical school when I was 5.
I think I was 4. I think I was 4. So, you know, don't let the young faces fool you. Don't let the smiles fool you. We know what we're talking about, and we can help you. And don't hesitate to call, because that's why we're here. And I'm glad we have the
probably do some follow-ups on this as time.
yeah, we will do. I hope we will do some follow-ups. I thank Johnny and David because they have a great platform. And again, people that follow me know that I'm here. Now you know that Dr. V is here. Dr. Victor is here as well. And many times people call me trying to get to him.
No, or say Dr. Blake, and both of us say yes.
Well, we'll make sure that we add your contact information in the comment section so everyone will know how to reach out to you. If you want to reach out to David and Johnny, we are also on social media at David and Johnny. Like us and follow us, subscribe to us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube. Thank you, Dr. Victor and Dr. Sherry Blake, for your time. We appreciate you both for taking out your time in this day to make sure that we are not only safe and healthy physically, but also safe and healthy mentally.
Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.